So here we have a basic project where we've got our background and our Blender object spinning around. Now this background is very busy. We can certainly tone that down by changing its opacity so that our model remains the star of the show. Now we've cross-dissolved that in, and I've shown you how we can make this longer by reusing the Blender object timeline. So if we put that right afterwards, you can see that it just starts over. Making this play in reverse is as simple as right-clicking on it, speed duration, and click on the reverse speed option. Now we have 30 seconds of our model where it comes to the overhead view and then goes back to the side view. However, that leaves us with no time in our background for an introduction or credits. In fact, let's go ahead and make some room for our introduction, about 5 seconds worth. And moving these aside, we zoom in a little, we now have a gap where we can have our name and what this is. And then there's the model. And then we need some time here at the end for the model and some credits. So this is an Adobe After Effects project. You don't want to just start After Effects or go and find your project and open it. Always use right-click and edit original so it opens the right program with the right file with the right composition. So we click on edit original, it'll open it up. Notice in this project file I've got different compositions that I could be using, including we can make our intro and our credits here as well. So this is 30 seconds long. And when we dragged our solid down here, it made it 30 seconds long. Our composition now needs to be longer. So we can go to Composition Settings. And down here at the bottom where it says 30 seconds, I'll just put a 2 in front of it so it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It's possible to move our current time indicator into this blank space here. We can also use our zoom here. I call this Little Mountain and Big Mountain, to show us that we now have 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but this layer ends at 30. So we can actually just drag the end of the layer over, and now it exists for that full amount of time. However, it stops moving. Pressing the U key on my keyboard will reveal that this is where the evolution keyframe ended before, and I'm going to move it down here to the end. Now that made it 5 times as long, so it's actually playing this 5 times more slowly. Very difficult to see the movement because it's slow, but also because it's set to a full resolution preview. It's best to move this down to, let's say, 1/4, and we can actually play this and it renders it faster than it plays. So you can see that it is just barely evolving. I'm going to use my keyframe jumper here to go right to this keyframe. Notice the keyframe diamond is blue here. And I've got my effect controls, and I can wind this around a few more times so that we have more action on the screen when we press the play button here, spacebar for playing. So we don't want this to be too crazy. YouTube will have a terrible time, even as it is, trying to render all of this. But if it's moving quickly, it will not have any data left over for our model. Returning to Premiere, now we can grab the end of this, and what we couldn't do before, we can extend it. And all this is to say, when you're creating backgrounds in After Effects, best to make them a lot longer than you'll need, because you can always shorten it down. In fact, make sure that you do that. Once you get your credits in here, don't leave another 10 seconds or minute or whatever of just your background evolving. That will not be fun to watch. Let me go ahead and cross-dissolve my model out. And if you do want to show off this background, this would be a good point to have the opacity change. So I'm going to go right to here and find my opacity again. Let me just turn off all keyframes from before, set a keyframe again, and then as that's dissolving, I'll have my opacity go back up to 100. That makes a nice background for, let's say, credits to scroll, as long as you're able to make your text highly legible using big bold fonts and a glow or stroke around them to separate them from this very active background. But now we've got 30 seconds of our model, so our overall video might be 45 seconds long instead of just that little 15 seconds that we started with rendering in Blender.